Hoorah! Hello, I'm Zakir and welcome back to my channel, and I'm finally doing some anime stuff! Woohoo! Yeah, I mean, it's been months since I last did an anime fan art video, and this is actually the only the second video overall on my channel that is anime related, despite the fact that my intro says art, writing, anime. Yeah, I haven't exactly been living up to my word there. I originally wanted to make this a series where I draw fan art of an anime and give my review on it. So if that's something you guys would like to see, let me know and it might become a thing on my channel. So for today's video, I'm doing a fan art illustration of the character Violet Evergarden from the anime series called Violet Evergarden. At the time that this video goes up, it's currently ongoing. I just watched the latest episode, which was only episode 8. But don't worry, I won't be spoiling anything in this video, so yeah. So I heard people talking about this anime on social media when it first came out, so I decided to give it a try, and I was like instantly hooked. And a big part of that, admittedly, was purely just for the animation and scenery. Like, there is so much animation in this anime, it's crazy. They put so much attention to detail. Every little lock of hair moves, and it's crazy. And then on top of that, like, the cinematography, which I know that's not, I mean, there's no cinematography because it's all drawn, but just like, you know, the angles, the colors and of the scenes and stuff is so well. And then plus on top of that, you put this music that just really fits this whole atmosphere that they're going for, which is kind of like, you know, kind of old world. And you put all that together and it just gave me this feeling of like a movie, really, like a really well, you know, high production movie. And that's really what got me first into it. Then what kept me around was the story, the anime, the characters. And so I probably should have gotten like the synopsis written down here or something so I can like tell you guys the exact synopsis, but I don't have it and I'm just gonna wing it. But basically here's the basic plot of the story. So Violet Evergarden is a girl who was an orphan and she was in the military. Basically, there was this big war that was going on, and she was in the military as a child, and she was used basically as a war tool because she's apparently some badass fighter or something like that. I'm giving you like the blunt plot version here, but anyway. So now the war is over. So the show, the anime starts like right after the war is over. So the anime is basically about this girl who is completely detached from her emotions because she did not have any emotions during the war at all. And it's really just her journey of discovering these emotions and feelings and understanding them. And she does that by enlisting into this mail service, or rather this letter writing service, which is called the Auto Memoir Dolls. And what this service does is basically if people need to write a letter, they will hire a doll, which is a woman who works for this company, and they will write the letter for them. Because, you know, writing letters isn't just a matter of, you know, just saying what you want to say, but it's how you say it, in particularly like love letters and things like that. How do you express your emotions within words and get your message across? And basically that's the job of the Auto Memoir Dolls. And so she just basically travels all around the world to wherever anyone needs her to write a letter, and along the way she learns about various feelings and emotions through writing people's letters because she has to understand them in order to write their letters. And people who have been keeping up to date with this anime and know what it's all about are probably like giggling right now with how terrible I am at explaining things. But there you go, there's Zakira's absolutely terrible synopsis of Violet Evergarden. Go watch it, it's great. Okay, but seriously though, the reason that I really liked and I was really drawn to this anime is because, well, for one, each episode does link to the next, as normal anime do, but at the same time, each episode is also kind of a mini story in itself, because in every episode she pretty much like she goes somewhere and she has to meet new people and, you know, work for them, and at the end of the episode she goes back home. So within, you know, whatever 25 minutes per episode, they have to build this atmosphere around these characters and make you feel for their situations. And the fact that I have pretty much cried from every single episode so far shows, in my opinion, that it's done really, really well. If you followed this channel, my channel, before, and you've heard some of my short stories that I do, that's kind of like what Violet Evergarden does with each episode is kind of like my goal when I write these short stories. Because I really do feel that there is a big difference when it comes to writing long stories that follow a certain group of characters that you're with for a very long time as you know, are on the journey of the story, versus short stories where you are introduced and say goodbye to the characters all within a very short amount of time. And in order to get people to be to cry, I guess, to feel emotional from a very short story, I think is more difficult than a longer story. True, they're both difficult regardless, but I think that when you're with a character for a very long time, you grow attached to them, and so when things happen, it's easier for you to feel for them. But when you are just introduced to a character, you have no idea who they are, and there's not enough time in one episode to let the audience know really who the heck this person is. So you really have to narrow down, and this is something that I'm learning slowly as I try to write short stories, particularly for like my monthly character series, on how to really just cut away everything that's unnecessary and just get down to the bare bones of what is it that you're trying to make your audience feel when they listen or watch this story. And that is something that I think Violet Evergarden does very, very well, because I may not necessarily grow very attached to the characters that are introduced in every episode, but at the same time they make me understand how they feel so well that I end up crying or something like that. And it's not just because of sadness. And mind you, there are some very sad moments in this anime. As a matter of fact, this illustration that I'm doing was inspired by a very sad time in the anime, which I won't spoil, don't worry. But then there are also times in the anime, and I'd say there's actually more times so far at least, I don't know, where the feels come from just touching moments, if you will, between people. Not really necessarily sad. And I don't know, I just feel like each episode is kind of, it's wholesome, if you will. It may have sadness inside it, you may feel bad, but then at the same time it ends up leaving you with a pretty good feeling at the end. And I think that's good. That's great. That's nice. I mean, now we're kind of, we're starting to get to that point in the anime where we're learning more about Violet Evergarden, about her past and so forth. So, you know, last episode in particular kind of left me on the cliff there, and that's why I kind of need the next episode. And, you know, yeah, that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't watched it. So yeah, overall review for Violet Evergarden on the Zakira anime rating system, otherwise known as ZARS, is, I'd say, 8 out of 10. Maybe a little bit on the less, like 7.8 out of 10, something like that, because I am and you know, the ZARS rating system is very biased. Just letting you guys know here, because it's really just what I like, and personally I am more of a fan of series that have where you kind of grow attached to a certain group of characters, and you're really just surrounded by this one group of characters as they go on this journey. I don't know, it's just personally the kind of stuff that I like more. But this one, because of all the feels, the beautiful cinematography, the beautiful animation, it definitely gets a high rating for me. Now I'm going to try to take only a few minutes to talk about particularly this illustration, the inspiration for it, and just the overall what I was going for with this illustration, how I feel about it. So this illustration was directly taken from a particular scene from the anime, which I'll have a screenshot of it or something here. And from the beginning, like right after I watched that episode, you know, for those of you who have watched that, know what I'm talking about, but just right after watching that episode, I was like, man, I have to do that scene. And I very quickly had the idea, the overall composition from the very beginning. It was very easy. I knew exactly what angle and composition I wanted. You could even see from the very beginning of the video, when I just had the blank canvas, I already knew I wanted the water coming in like that, and the camera is kind of like half under the water, half over the water, and the overall image is vertical, but it's slightly slanted in that angle, and I kind of wanted to do that, and I ended up just never really changing it, just kind of going with that first gut feeling. And also in particular, I didn't want to just completely copy that scene, so I didn't choose the exact same angle that that particular scene was shot in the anime, and instead chose this sort of head-on view. Because, you know, I still want to be kind of original, even though it's, you know, it is fan art, and but I wanted to put some spice into it. So after I did the pencil sketch, I went right in with the colors. I am using this brush recently, which I've kind of fallen in love with, this new brush, and just blotted in the colors and just started painting, really. And I will say with confidence that I have finally made an illustration that I am proud of again. And it's kind of good because there are parts in the illustration where I do feel some stuff is a little off. There are things that I definitely need to improve on. In particular, the splash in the water, that gave me a lot of trouble, and I don't know, I just couldn't get it just right, and I think that's something I need to work on. And just overall colors and lighting. Things that I would definitely keep in mind for next time I'm doing an illustration like this is to know where the dang light source is before you start painting. I mean, this is like a general thing that you should always have if you're painting. You should know where the heck is your light source, but I was kind of on the fence. I wasn't really sure where I wanted the light source to be. In the shot in the anime, the light source is kind of coming in from the left-ish, high left, but I ended up going for the light source coming in kind of from the back right. So it's mainly coming in from the back, so the front of her body is totally shaded in, and so forth. And I just felt that that made it more dynamic and made it more dramatic, and that's why I did that, even though it's not directly the same as that scene from the anime. I also used photo reference for the water because I wasn't entirely sure how to do this whole half under, half over camera thing, so I looked up some photo reference for that, and that was very, very handy. So, you know, use photo reference, people. Very handy stuff. The overall time that it took me was around 9 hours, and I was actually kind of surprised because I thought it took me longer. Yeah, because I did over the course of a few days. But yeah, it's actually not as long as I originally thought it would be. But yes, I am proud of this illustration. I am very happy with how it came out because I'm not very experienced with painting digitally, and I feel like I did pretty well considering, and definitely things I need to improve on, but regardless, I am pretty happy with how this came out. But I would love to hear what you guys thought about it, so let me know if you like this illustration, if you didn't like it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this illustration and on the anime. How did I do for my Zakura anime review? Do you want to see more videos like this? I'm very curious, so let me know all that good stuff in the comment section. If you did enjoy this video in any way, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on upcoming videos. I make new videos every week. If you want to follow me on social media, all links are in the description box where you can follow me for daily updates. And until next time, stay awesome, stay inspired, always. See ya!